Donald Trump has landed in his Mar-a-Lago resort for the 7th time in his presidency to enjoy the Easter holidays with his family in the Florida sunshine. The president boarded Air Force One at the Joint Base Andrews in Maryland outside Washington, D.C., on Thursday before traveling to Palm Beach for the Good Friday holiday and Easter weekend. Air Force One had touched down at Palm Beach International Airport just after 6:30 p.m. First Lady Melania Trump arrived on a separate Air Force plane moments later with his children, Don Jr., Eric, Tiffany and Barron Trump. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus had accompanied Trump to Joint Base Andrews for takeoff but never boarded the jet on Thursday. In fact, the president did not seem to be accompanied by any senior staff on the family trip, while the White House confirmed that he has no public events scheduled Friday. The first family is expected to attend Easter service at the Episcopal Church of Bethesda by the Sea, according to CBS, the same church where Trump and Melania were married in 2005 and most recently attended Christmas Mass. On arriving in Florida, Trump gave a wave to a group of supporters who were gathered at the airport in Make America Great Again hats and waving American flags. Supporters also greeted Trump in his motorcade outside his Mar-a-Lago estate, waving pro-Trump signs. Yet, while the real estate mogul got a warm welcome back to the so-called winter White House, his frequent trips to his Palm Beach property has ethics experts throwing up red flags. Trump will have spent more than a quarter of his presidency in Florida at his Mar-a-Lago resort once Easter weekend concludes. And his trips are costing taxpayers at least $1 million each time he travels, NBC reported. The price tag could be as much as $3 million. All the while, Trump is giving the property that charges membership fees of $200,000 free exposure as he parades through with his family and foreign leaders. The network tracked Trump's travel and found that he'd spent 28% of his time en route to, at or returning from Mar-a-Lago in the period between January 20 and April 16. It included his Easter weekend travel in its assessment. Trump leaves again for Palm Beach this afternoon. George W. Bush spent more time on retreats at his Crawford, Texas, ranch and Camp David in his first 3 months in office, 34 days, than Trump will have spent at Mar-a-Lago, 25 days, by the end of the upcoming weekend. By comparison, Barack Obama escaped the White House 14 days in that same time period. While past presidents have found solace at Camp David, the official retreat of Commander-in-Chief, Trump has not been to the property yet at all. He hasn't been to his New York City home since taking the oath of office either. His weekends have mostly been spent at one of his area golf courses or his resort in Palm Beach. It's just another example of his consistent efforts to exploit public office for private gain, Steve Schooner, an ethics expert told NBC News. He's using his official office and the fact that people have to travel with him, meet him, and follow him to promote his commercial enterprise, in this case his privately owned club. Dubbed by Trump as the Southern White House, an aide to the president told NBC News he is staying at his home when he visits and has minimal staff with him. Press Secretary Sean Spicer has argued that Mar-a-Lago is where Trump goes to see his family. He brings people down there. This is part of being president, the Trump spokesman said. This weekend's visit comes as a new report found that Florida health inspectors cited President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort with 15 violations in late January, days before the U.S. leader hosted Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe for a diplomatic visit. Still, the state inspectors allowed the luxury resort's main restaurant and beach club grill to remain open as staff scrambled to make several immediate corrections. Trump has mixed work with personal time on his weekend retreats, bringing his wife, his eldest daughter, his son-in-law and his grandchildren with him to Florida and sometimes making stops at White House and campaign events. He turned the private resort into a stand-in White House last weekend as he played host to China president. The Chinese delegation did not stay at Trump's property, but President Xi Jinping and his aides came there for meals and meetings.
Thank you watching video.